But anyway, Rob, we talked to Joe Varden last hour from The Athletic. He had a great story on Team USA, the men's basketball team that's going to try to win gold again this year in Paris. And the main premise, Rob, of the story was whether or not LeBron would possibly come off the bench. Because Joe Varden was saying that he feels like there's 3 definite starters. That's Kevin Durant, the all-time leading scorer for Team USA. Steph Curry, the best shooter in the world. And by most people, I know you don't consider him that. And then
0 for 11. Oh, I'm sorry.
Joel Embiid, the big man. Those were the 3, I believe, Rob G. Those were the 3 he said, I believe. And so he was like, he brought up Kawhi. I'm sorry. I don't think Kawhi Leonard's starting over LeBron James. I don't even think that's a question. And my thinking is LeBron's definitely starting.
There's no way LeBron's coming off the bench, Chris. Can we stop? Like, I saw that. I'm like.
And he ended up saying LeBron's probably going to start or almost surely going to start. Stop. But, yeah, I mean, just out of respect.
This is last go-round. Really?
Right.
I don't see that.
Yeah, I mean, if like he was just, which won't be the case, but if he was just playing horribly or getting crushed, maybe ultimately to win gold if they had to make a move. But even in situations like that, Rob, you still might start him to not embarrass him, but Halliburton, the backup point guard, or somebody else plays, you know what I mean, where play more. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think LeBron will play well. But yeah, so we both are in agreement that he'll start. But this is what I think the starting 5 should be, Rob. I think it should be LeBron, as you want to call him, point guard, whatever you want to call him. Steph, KD, Jason Tatum, and Joel Embiid. Now, in the FIBA World Cup last year, they were getting beat up. Like they were too small. They weren't rebounding well, and that was a different team, obviously. But if that proves to be the case as these games are happening, then I could substitute Anthony Davis for Jason Tatum. But I think that smaller lineup will be able to get it done. Tatum is a good rebounder, great rebounder for his size. Durant's a good rebounder, obviously Embiid, and LeBron is a rebounder. And so that's what I think I would have the starting 5 as. And if Steve Kerr wants to run any semblance of that Golden State offense that led them to so many championships, LeBron could be in that Draymond Green role. Because, when Golden State plays, Draymond is kind of like the point guard. And LeBron could play that role, obviously even better than Draymond. And you got the shooters in Steph, KD, and Tatum. And Embiid obviously can shoot as well. So I think that opens up that possibility for you if you're Steve Kerr. But anyway, what do you think of that and the notion of LeBron being the point guard?
Chris, I think it's a huge indictment of this whole talk that Steph Curry's the second best point guard of all time. Because there's no way, if he was really considered that, would anybody be handling the ball other than him if he's on this team. Ain't no way, no how Magic Johnson would be on a team and LeBron James is handling the ball. Or Isaiah Thomas. Or John Stockton. Or even Chris Paul.
So are you saying he's not a point guard?
Yeah, he's not. That's why.
Because Draymond handles the ball more than him.
But I'm saying, but this is the argument that he's the second best point guard ever is a sham. Is a ruse. Is fugazi. Steph Curry is not the second greatest point guard of all time. If he was the second greatest point guard of all time, Chris, no matter if LeBron didn't have a position or no matter if LeBron was on a team, he would be handling the basketball. He would be running the offense. But it ain't the case. Steph is a wolf in sheep's clothing. That's what he is. He ain't no point guard. They just don't want to call him a two guard, right? Because then if you do that, then
so is LeBron a point guard, or is he not?
No, he's just better than Steph Curry at being a point guard.
But real talk, Rob.
No, I'm just saying.
But most of LeBron's career, particularly in his prime,
I know he's a point forward.
He was the primary. No. he was the primary ball handler. He is really, I don't call him a point guard. But if we really talk about the way he plays, if we want to define positions by how you play, you are right. We would call, and I don't, we would call Steph Curry a 2 guard. We would call LeBron James a point guard. They just started. Remember, they used to call Luka a small forward shooting guard. Now he's just viewed as a point guard because that's how he plays. So, if you want to make that argument, to me, it's not a big deal. Okay, so Steph's not the second greatest point guard ever. I think he actually is because I do rank him in the point guard category. But if you want to move him to shooting guard, okay. So he's the third best shooting guard ever.
That's a big difference.
Is Michael Jordan number 1, Kobe Bryant number 2, Steph Curry number 3.
So you got Kobe ahead of Steph.
Yeah, because he was obviously the defense. So I would, but to me, that's not a big deal. But I think there are a lot of players, Rob, that we categorize them differently than they actually played. Jokic, in a lot of ways, is the Nuggets point guard. Now, obviously, he posts, but heck, Gary Payton used to post up. Mark Jackson used to post up. Jamal Murray is listed as the point guard. He ain't a point guard. He's a 2 guard.
Yeah, but that's fine.
James Harden is, I consider, when I think about where James Harden ranks, Rob, like all time by position, I tend to categorize him in the shooting guard category. Although he's basically a point guard. He's played point guard, the whole second half of his career and more, and then some. So I think it's, Steph. One reason I think of Steph as a point is because he can clearly play point. He played point for Mark Jackson like today's point guards do. High pick and roll. And his numbers were great. 24 points, 8.5 assists. He was playing more like today's point guards do. But the genius of Steve Kerr was that he said, this guy's like the best shooter I've ever seen. Let me have him running off some screens and stuff. And Clay running off some screens. And Draymond can handle the ball and has a high basketball IQ and can pass. Let me put the ball in his hands. So if you want to categorize him as a 2, and it's funny, I categorize Allen Iverson as a shooting guard. I don't think of him as a point. So it's a lot of players that kind of their positions get mixed up because of they're doing a lot of things.
I hear that, but I'm just saying whenever you want to deem somebody as the second greatest point guard of all time, and then you put together this team with all these all-time greats, and he's not in that role, that's the only thing, that's my biggest pushback, is that these other guys, you couldn't shift anybody else around
well, you're
of the other
LeBron
ones.
at point.
Yeah,
so
no,
that means
but
he's not the second
no,
greatest.
I'm not. I'm just saying,
not the greatest small forward of all
so
time?
is LeBron the second best point guard of all time?
I think LeBron's just the best small forward.
No, I'm asking you about point guard. You say he handles the basketball.
I don't categorize him as a point guard.
Well, he's playing.
But if I did, I would say he's
better than Steph?
He's a better player than Steph.
No, point guard. Yes. He played. You just talked about it. He played it most of his career.
I don't know.
Really?
I don't know that I say that.
Okay.
I think like Magic, LeBron is a better player than Magic.
Not a better point guard.
But Magic was a better point guard distributor.
Right.
Steph is a great passer. But and he's a great ball handler. Like he's a better ball handler than LeBron. LeBron played point in a way that not a lot of people did. He dominated the ball. And he scored a lot. And so I'm just saying, if we're defining point guard as the guy that brings the ball up, then LeBron did that for the bulk of his career. But I like with Team USA, and I said it to Joe Varden, I like putting LeBron at point because he is a guy that, loves to pass the ball. And when I've got a ton of shooters on the team, That's what I need. I need a guy that's going to be primarily be a passer. And then LeBron has turned himself into a very good three-point shooter, shot 41% last year. So now when he's on the perimeter, if they leave him, he can obviously drain the three. So and look, that's Joe's article. Steve Kerr hasn't come out and said that's how we'll do it. I bet you when they name the starting five and LeBron and Steph are in it, I bet they'll call Steph the point guard. And if I don't know if it'll be my starting five, but in that group, he probably called Jason Tatum the two guard and LeBron a small forward or power forward and KD the small forward. Like, I mean, today, a lot of these guys are somewhat positionless. So I know you're trying to make a big, he ain't a point guard. He ain't a point guard. The sky is falling.
It's just an indictment of Steph Curry. It's a sham.
It's a huge indictment.
It's a sham. He's not the second best point guard of all time. Stop it with that.
Wow.
877-99 on Fox. Are you with me?
How dare they?
Are you with me?
How dare you list him as a point guard on Sports Reference, ProBasketballReference.com. My goodness. How dare the Warriors list him as a point guard in their media guide? What are we talking about?
If he's a point guard, then I got a $3 bill in my wallet. I'm just saying. It's phony as the high heavens.